And I can say that honestly because I know that that's how it happens for me, and I know why that's how it happens for me. It's the same reason it happened for Joseph, same reason it happened for Moses, is because we got plans. We all got plans. Some of us right now are going through real tests of faith. Some of us are holding on to Scripture for dear life. And we're asking God, God, where are you? This isn't happening. We don't know when or how God's going to do it. When we read Exodus chapter 6, we got to think about when your day goes from bad to worse, the presence of problems doesn't mean that you're out of God's will. It doesn't mean that you're being punished. I know there's a lot of people that have a punishment mentality. Every time something goes wrong, or something doesn't go as it's supposed to go, you say, I'm wrong. God is causing this to happen. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hands on that because most of us do that. Why am I being punished? We look back and we could say, why was Moses being punished? Was Moses being punished? No, God was working on him. Just like God's working on you. It's not a punishment, it's character building. Those crazy not even helping you anymore. Something good can be just around the corner. He needs to make sure that you're in a position to receive a blessing that he has coming your way. Some of us aren't positioned right. We need to stand firm and be faithful during the troubled times so that when we receive the blessing, we have the right attitude on it. Like, I know a lot of people, when they think about it, they think, man, I wish God would just bless me financially so that I can get the crap that I'm in. And when we say that, we're thinking, oh, well, if I have like $250, it's $250. See, I can buy a car, I can this, I can that, I can this. You know how many pair of Jordans I can buy with $100,000? Mm-hmm. I don't own any Jordans. These were like $25. But we start to think about what we can do with his blessings. Why does God bless us? So that we can be a blessing to others. Does that mean if God blesses me and I go out and buy a brand new car with his blessing, that me blessing others means I let them ride in it? That's not really blessing them, is it? They may get to play with all the gadgets and gizmos and buttons. Now, I'm not saying God doesn't want his people to have nice things. Please don't mistake that. But I know people that their first thought if they come into a lot of money is what they're going to buy. Not necessarily what they're going to pay off. The tithe on that money. You know, I look at this church, and there's things in this church that I can't help but look at. Like, one of the things that this church needs is a new sound system. And I've asked God, like, please bless me with the money. I will buy a new sound system for this church. He hasn't done it yet. He may not. That may not be the avenue that he wants for the church to get a new sound system. But could I pay off some bills with that money? Yes, I could. But I have food, I have a roof over my head. It's not about what you have, it's about what your attitude is behind it. We need to make sure that we have the right attitude. We want to be delivered, but we don't want the troubles or the commitment required to be patient long enough to wait on God to accomplish the deliverance. We want that instant gratification. God, I want you to heal me. I want you to deliver me. Not tomorrow, not in 2 weeks. I want you to do it right now. God, why aren't you healing me right now? God, I just prayed and I'm still not better. Why not? See, we got this right now mentality. We got this me mentality. We've got this patience about us. And today's society doesn't help. If I don't know something, what do? Well, let me Google that. I can get the information right now. I am used to having information at my fingertips. I'm used to having answers at my fingertips. There is not a single button on this phone that I can like, oh, what are you thinking? That's only going to come through relationship with Him. That's only going to come through reading Scripture. And He still doesn't even have to tell me what He's thinking. All I have to know is He has a plan for me. That it's a good plan. I need to keep moving forward. See, we can't let emotion distract us. We can't let what we see happening around us, or what we don't see happening around us, to distract us. God still has a plan. Don't let drama or your past or anything anybody else says take your focus away from God. And that's something that I think a lot of people do nowadays is everybody wants validation. So we will go to people and we will tell each and every single person what is going on in our lives until someone validates us. How many of y'all know that person that has more than one primary care physician? Well, if my first doctor doesn't agree with what's wrong with me, my other doctor will. Or that person may go from church to church to church to church until they find one where they can get somebody to agree the situation is really bad. See, because a lot of us like to wear our burdens on our shoulders or on our chest like a badge of honor. These are my burdens. Basically what we're saying is I'm going to put my pride out there on display, and if you agree with my pride, we can be friends. That gets you 40 years of walking through the wilderness. We need to be patient. Some people have been holding on for a long time. Your answer is coming. Don't give up. What I've learned from God over the years is a very simple truth. I need to learn lessons the hard way. I don't want to learn lessons the hard way. But for me to get outside of myself to learn what God's trying to tell me, sometimes things have to happen. Things have to take a little bit longer so that I can learn the lessons that I need to learn, just like I said a minute ago, to be able to receive whatever it is God is trying to show me. There's something in me that I need to deal with before I can accept what God is trying to give me. And in most cases, there's something God needs to deal with in me before He can give me what He's trying to give me. We want to stand for Christ. We want to reach people for Christ. But we don't want to go through the trials to get to the point where we can tell people about Christ. I ask God a lot of times, I'm like, God, why did you let this person struggle with this thing for so long? Or why did this person have to go through this? Why is this? This guy right here was on heroin for 20 years. God, why was he on drugs for so long? Well, he came to you, he was still addicted to this drug, God. Why? But those people can go into any rehab center and they could reach people for Christ in a way that I never can. We all have a testimony. And the things that we go through are not things to be ashamed of. But that thing that you're going through, that God is bringing you through, that God will deliver you from, that may be the part of your testimony that reaches somebody else for Christ that's going through the exact same thing. We cannot be mad at God because we don't listen to what He's already said to us. When God first called me to teach, I didn't listen to Him. I was like, you must be talking about somebody else. But then when repeatedly I kept getting put into positions where I had to teach people how to do things, could I get mad at God for that? Could I be like, hey God, this is stupid. Why are you making me do this when He's already told me, hey, I'm going to do this. God has a plan. We just have to remember that it is a good one. How many of you have wondered why God has to do things the hard way? Nobody? Come on. Y'all got to be... I'm not the only one. Like, God, it would have been so much easier if you would have just went like this, and this. Rather than this. Yeah. We're human, right? We've all thought why God did things a certain way when we know of a better way. A lot of times we've asked God, where is He in this situation? My favorite one is the are you kidding me questioning of God. Like it finally seems like you are one step away from your deliverance, and then you get knocked back down. Or you see the light at the end of the tunnel only to find out that it's a train coming your way. Where you think you're right there, you're on the edge, and now there's another barrier, or another setback, or another stumbling block. And the only thing you can think to ask or pray to God is, God, are you kidding me? Like, how much longer? And I know God's answer to that is as long as it takes. He is the Creator. He's the Alpha, the Omega. He's the beginning and the end. He's Jehovah Jireh, our provider. He's Jehovah Rapha, our healer. He is Adonai. He is Lord. We need to stop trying to figure out what was He thinking. We need to start doing what He's called us to do in the middle of the trials. We need to keep moving forward. We need to hold on. We need to grab a hold of what God is doing. And we need to not let it go. We need to not let the circumstances and the situations going on in this world around us deter us at all from the calling that God has placed on your life. Each and every single person in here, including the sleeping teens in the back of this room, have a purpose, have a calling by God in their lives. They may not know exactly what that calling is yet, but it's going to be to reach people in some way.
That's good.
It might be through teaching. It might be through prophecy. It might be through a lot of different avenues, but at the end of the day, that gift that God has already placed on the inside of them is a gift that they are going to use to reach people for Christ. God is enough. He is all you need. When you think that you're not qualified, when you think that you're not good enough, and every excuse that you can come up with just realize that every single excuse that you can make is covered by the statement, God is enough. You have a speech problem. God is enough to cover that. You have an illness. God is enough to cover that. You're blind. God is enough to cover that. You're deaf. God is enough to cover that. You may be lame. You may be paralyzed. God is enough to cover every single excuse that you can make to not do what God has called you to do. When you're feeling pressure, He is enough to cover that pressure. When you're pleading with Him through your situation, He is enough to bring you through that situation. If you're in poverty, He is enough to bring you out. When you're hurting, He is enough to cover that. I hear all the time that people say, well, I don't want to pray for somebody because I'm going through myself. Would anybody ever be able to pray for anybody else if we had to wait until we were done going through something to be able to pray for other people? Minister Mary leads our prayer team, and I will guarantee you she's going through something, but she's still praying. Amen. Because she knows that God is enough to cover whatever she's going through and give her the ability and the power to pray in power. He's enough. When you need to come back to Him, He is more than ready to receive you back. I don't know what everybody in here is going through today. I can't pretend to know every situation. I know the situation that I'm going through. And this message isn't just for y'all today, it's for me too. Some of y'all know I've been going through some situations at work for years now. And it was at the beginning of this year I just had to say, you know what, God, I don't know why you're doing what you're doing. I don't even like why He's doing what He's doing. But I have to trust that He has a plan and that His grace is enough to get me through whatever He has me go through. That may be the reason. He may have just been waiting for me to learn that. But even if that's not it, He's enough to cover me until I learn whatever lesson it is I need to learn. And it may not even be a lesson I need to learn. There may be somebody else. There may be something else that has to happen in order for me to move on, or God may not even be calling me to move on. But I can tell you this. He's enough. He's enough to bring me through it. If you're going through today, God is enough to bring you through whatever situations, whatever struggles, whatever trials you're going through. God is enough to bring you through each and every single one of those things. If you have a sickness in your body, God is enough to bring you through that. Anything that you have going on, God is enough. I'm gonna ask Mike to play a song. And if you're going through something this morning and you want prayer, please come on up to the altar. God is enough to bring you through whatever it is you're going through. It could be a bad relationship. It could be a job situation, a school situation. It doesn't matter what it is. God is enough to bring you through whatever it is you have going on. Mike, can you go ahead and... But if you need prayer, please